What's up, everybody? I'm B-True, and recently I've been doing a lot of bounty farming for the Ring of Royal Grandeur because it is such a valuable item, and you really need it for any endgame build here. Now, the fastest way to actually go about farming the Act 1 bounties, I would suggest joining the bounty split farming community, because in that way you can just find a group very quickly and you guys can run together and split farm the bounties, which basically just means each one of you work on a single bounty at its own location. And you want to do this on normal difficulty because you're going to be able to just absolutely explode enemies with no work behind it, and you don't have to worry about dying, and it's really the fastest way to get these bounties done. So while we're on that, let's get to the build here. And this build is meant to get you to the bounty thing as fast as possible. This isn't meant to do a bunch of damage. You don't really want to focus on killing enemies because that's not really worth it unless the bounty requires you to. You just want to get to the bounty part as fast as possible. So first off, we have Entangling Shot with Justice is Served. That is for the 6 hatred that you get, which is going to help you spam your multi-shot more. But I very rarely even have to use this, so I just have it there just in case. Next we have Multi-Shot with Suppression Fire. Now this, with the Suppression Fire rune, it gives you 1 discipline for every enemy that you hit, up to 6 discipline, which helps fuel your vault, which is how you get to your bounties. I'll get to that in a second. Next we have Preparation Punishment. Now this is so that you can refill your hatred, because as you're going to see with multi-shot and some of your passives, your discipline fills up faster than your hatred does. So you're going to sit there, you're going to multi-shot, multi-shot, multi-shot. When you're out of hatred, you're going to cast Preparation Punishment. That's going to refill up your hatred. Multi-shot, 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 discipline will be full, and you just kind of go back and forth between that, just casting back and forth between them to kind of keep your resources as full as possible. And you can basically have unlimited resources if you do this correctly. Next I have Vengeance, and that is for whenever you have to fight a unique monster or elite champion packs that are around a unique monster, just so you do that extra damage and you have the extra hatred generation so you can kill people faster. Now, the main portion of this build is Vault, because it's the best movement skill that Demon Hunters have. And with the 1 passive, you get the speed bonus, but we'll get that in a second. Now, I have Vault with the Tumble rune, because if you cast Vault again within 6 seconds after using it the first time, the discipline cost is reduced by 50%. So this allows you to Vault more often and not have to worry about running out of discipline as quickly. So it's a very valuable rune. You definitely need Vault here to get to whatever bounties you have, because sometimes you have to cover a lot of distance, so Vault helps you to get to them as quick as possible. Now finally I have Companion with the Bat Companion rune. This is for the extra hatred generation as well as the active, which gives you 50 hatred once you cast the skill. So this is what you're going to need just in case you start to run out of hatred and discipline, so you can cast Bat Companion, fill up some of your hatred again, multi-shot, multi-shot, get your discipline back, and then kind of keep that rotation back up again. So now for your passives. First off, Tactical Advantage is a must-have. Whenever you cast Vault, you gain 60% movement speed. So when you Vault, you're going to cover that distance, plus you're going to get the extra movement speed, and then you can cast Vault again for 50% of the cost of the original Vault, so then you get that advantage again, and it really just helps you cover a ton of distance very quickly. Next we have Blood Vengeance, and this is for the Health Globe effect of when you get a Health Globe, you gain 30 hatred and 3 discipline. So this helps you to keep your hatred high for your multi-shots, which in turn keep your discipline high. So this is also very, very important, and you need this for the build. Also, if you have Reaper's Wraps, which I do, that's also very important because of the extra hatred that it gives you for that. So basically, a Health Globe with your Reaper's Wraps and Blood Vengeance will almost completely fill up your hatred. So that's very, very good, and you're going to need that for this build. Next, we have Hot Pursuit, which increases your movement speed by 20% whenever you hit an enemy. So that's obviously, you're going to need that because when you're in the middle of vaulting and Tactical Advantage, you're going to want to cast multi-shot, not to kill enemies, but just to hit them, to increase your discipline, and then you get the movement speed bonus. So that just helps you get to the bounty part faster and cover more distance. And then finally, Night Stalker, which synergizes with multi-shot suppression fire because every time you get a critical hit, there's a chance to restore 1 discipline. Plus, you're getting the discipline from hitting enemies with multi-shot. So altogether, you basically can have infinite discipline if you do it correctly. So there's the build. And then just the only thing that you really absolutely need here is 25% movement speed, which you can get from your Paragon points. You need 25% so you can get there as fast as possible, and then you get the biggest advantages of Tactical Advantage and Hot Pursuit when you have 25% movement speed. So, like I said, this is all about movement and getting to the bounties as fast as possible, and it's what you really need to make this as efficient as possible so that you can complete the bounties and get as many Haraja caches as you need. Because you only get the Ring of Royal Grandeur from the Act 1 caches, and it's not very often that you get one. I mean, they're very, very rare and few and far between. It's taken me days and days at times to find some, so you really want to be as efficient as possible when doing this. So right now I'm going to give you guys a little bit of gameplay here to show you how this works. Alright, so you're going to teleport to the place, and then what you want to do is you kind of vault and multi-shot between them. And as you can see, I'm lagging a little bit right now, but you can see you basically have infinite discipline, which is why when you start getting low with your hatred, you're going to cast preparation, because then that's going to refill your hatred, which then in turn gives you more of your discipline. And then you can basically just vault around the entire map and find wherever it is that your bounty is, because a lot of times you do end up having to cover a large amount of distance. And you see here I've got a few shrines, and you can see how fast my discipline is filling up when I cast multi-shot into groups. But whenever you get if you find an empowering shrine, that is absolutely the best thing that you can do, because that gives you so much extra resource generation, and it's really important for you. So then when you get to the bounty, that's when I cast Vengeance, so I can kill everything as fast as possible. And then here we go. We just had the last part here. All right, so that's one down already. When you're with a group, a lot of the times you will, everyone gets done around the same time. So I just finished one in roughly, like 15, 20, 30 seconds. So then that way, when you're with a group, everybody's doing them, then you all kind of gang up together, kill the boss, and then you end it. So you can get your caches pretty quickly if you kind of put everything together and you do this the right way. I'm going to do one more bounty here. I decided because that was a little bit quick, just to kind of show you once again. But as you saw there, you have next to infinite discipline as long as you have hatred because of your multi-shot. So it's very important to keep your hatred high as well, so that you can keep casting your multi-shot. But here, I'll go to the Festering Woods. So multi-shot keeps your discipline high. Keep moving, keep vaulting. And you don't want to just vault back to back to back, because you want to take advantage of that 60% movement speed you get. So you want to vault, run for a little bit, vault for a little bit, or run for a little bit, vault, run for a little bit, and cast multi-shot in between there, because you're also getting the advantage of the movement speed from killing or from hitting enemies. So then here, once again, cast that. You have to kill 125 people, so just kind of walk around, kill. And there's another one done. That one was even faster. That was like 15 seconds. So you can see how powerful this is and how quickly you can farm your caches with this method. So you definitely want to take advantage of all the things that I showed you in this build, because this is the fastest way that I've found to run caches with your Demon Hunter. And I've already cleared out this whole map. Now this isn't the biggest map, so a lot of times you're going to have to run a lot farther than what I've had to. But you can see how much distance you can cover, and with the infinite discipline that you have and your ability to vault the entire time, that's pretty important. Now, a lot of you guys who, probably you do know already, but Preparation Punishment is getting a change in patch 2.1. So it's no longer going to cost discipline. It's going to have a cooldown associated with it. So unfortunately, that is going to change the way this build runs. So what I would do is you can decide to leave it, and then you're just going to have to cast multi-shot less often, and then you just have to wait for the cooldown. Or what you can do is you can change it to backup plan here. So there's a 30% chance that the cooldown won't be triggered, but it restores 30 discipline. So in that case, what you would do is you would cast multi-shot less often and run around vaulting, and then you'd cast your preparation with the backup plan rune to get your discipline back, and then vault, and then cast multi-shot a couple times and kind of work back and forth with that. But I would encourage you to use this build as much as possible now before they change that, because that is going to make this build slightly less efficient, and you're going to be a little bit slower with your bounties. But there, I already did 2 bounties, very short amount of time. If you do this with a group, you can farm these extremely fast, and you can get this in a day or 2 if you really stick to it. Sometimes it can get a little boring because you're going to need sometimes up to 100, maybe 200 caches before you even find your Ring of Royal Grandeur. I know it took me upwards of around 350, and I was really starting to get tired of it. But this is the fastest way that I have found to do it. So if you guys have a faster way with the Demon Hunter, let me know. I think this is about as efficient and fast as you can possibly get, unless, of course, you were to use the Donetta set. I don't have them, but what that does is it changes your vault. Instead of using Discipline, it now uses Hatred, which it can make it a little bit faster for you because you have more Hatred and you can just spam vault the entire time. But this is the fastest way that I've found with it, so let me know what you guys think about this build down below. Let me know what you guys, how many times it took you guys to get your Ring of Royal Grandeur, because it took me forever. So let me know what it took you guys to get. I want to know from you guys, see what you guys are thinking about this. Please click that like button down below the video, and if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button right below the video. That way you can stay up to date with all of my future videos with the PTR and everything in patch 2.1 as they release more and more of the things that are going to be in patch 2.1 on the PTR. So guys, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you all in the next video.